This is Fred Beck from Fred Fighting. I'm joined over Zoom. It's been a while since I last seen you, Wade. How you been? I'm joined by Wade Plem.
Wade Plem in the building, coffee in hand. I'm the man. You understand? I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah, listen, all things are going well. Your boy's working. We got interview. I'm dropping an interview today, Fred. How about that?
Who with? This won't be out until like tomorrow.
Vidal Riley,
Oh, okay, nice, nice. He had his last.
my brother.
Christian was over here. I was away, unfortunately, so I didn't get to see him.
Oh,
You
dang.
seen Christian's new channel?
He's banging, man.
It's
Dude,
good.
I love Christian's channel. What you get to see at his channel is the way his artistic style. What he does for me and shout out Leo Ains. Those guys when they help on the editing side on my end, it's my style. But when he's on his own channel, you really get to see how talented that kid is. So he's next up, man. Just a matter of time.
Yeah, it is. I'll put his channel link in the description to go
There you
see
go.
Christian. But apart from that, Wade, what else have you been up to?
Not much, man. Just working. Working on the breakdown, trying to get that thing to 50K subs. Trying to get myself to 300K. We're right there, Fred. We're right there. We can't get over the hump. But yeah, just grinding, man. Just excited for this Jake and Tommy fight coming up. Excited to announce that finally, after freaking a long, long, long talk, I can finally say I'm going to be going to Misfits number 5. Wasn't sure for the longest part there, but now we're ready to go. But
What
yeah,
was the
man,
hold
just
up?
working.
What was the hold up about the Misfits?
It's not really a holdup. It was just, they were trying to figure out logistically. I think they had issues with like venue for a little bit, and then they didn't really know, and then they were working on some other stuff, and they didn't get back, and also I'm trying to work on something long term with the Zone and Misfits as well. I don't know if anybody really knows that, but I'm trying to lock down a long term deal with them. Which is, anytime you do contract negotiation stuff, it's always, I want this. Well, you can have this. Well, I can do this, and maybe, so there's a lot of stuff back and forth, but that stuff we're still working on. But I'm excited because I think we're really close.
And for Saudi Arabia, you won't be there.
No, no, unfortunately, no. You know what's funny? I reached out myself and and shout out at a Oladipo. We were trying to get on that card so hard. We were. I even reached out, Fred, to the promoter that is not like MVP, like Queensberry, the guy that's putting on the event in Saudi. Somehow I got his name and number, and I reached out and said, "Hey, listen, I don't know if the zone is going to, be a part of this, or whatever, but would you need somebody to potentially do interviews, yada yada?" Because I knew I wasn't going to be on commentary, but I just wanted to be out there for the fight. So unfortunately, though, I'll be at home. I shouldn't say unfortunately because we'll have a banging live stream. By the way, we got some special guests coming up on the watch party, so it'll be fun, man.
It's funny because if you put a live stream on, I think Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, that's a huge fight. I
Yeah.
think people realize how big it is until it gets like weigh in day where you've gone through the whole bye week antics and it's all been ramped up, ramped up. I mean, what do you think about it? I guess the trilogy, even though there's not the first two fights.
It's the third time we're trying to make it, right?
But
No,
your
this
views,
is going to be
Wade,
big,
that
man.
live stream's gonna bang. It's gonna do very, very,
I
very.
hope so, man. I saw something yesterday where this cat was like 60K subs on his YouTube. It was like on Twitter, and the full already had 2 million view videos. I was so hot. I was like, bro, I don't have one. I'm so close. I got like 3 videos at 900K, but I need 1 million view video. So I'm still looking for that. The live stream's probably the most likely until potentially one day, maybe I do that KSI and Jake face to face. That may be the one.
Yeah, that could be the one actually. That's good. But I think that would do over. If it gets posted on your channel and the zone don't post it as well, and
I
Misfits.
think even if the zone does post it, which I would want them to, obviously, I think it, what I'm saying, the people would they would gravitate to the Wade concept, because that's what happened. We posted the temper one. And if we would have posted that a day earlier, maybe a day and a half earlier, I had been working on that, Fred, that face to face with KSI and Temper for 3 months. Not Temper because he wasn't in the fight, but 3 months going, I need to have KSI for the face to face. I'm telling you guys right now, we have to do it. We have to do it. Worked on it, worked on it, worked on it. Finally, the Thursday before fight week or the Thursday before the fight, they came back to me and said, okay, you can do it tomorrow after weigh-ins. I was like, all right. I wish it would have been on like Wednesday, but
Why did they not do it earlier?
I don't know if it was just the guy. KSI has so much he's doing on fight week, and you never want to step on anyone's toes, right? And you know this from interviewing people, but you never want to try to insert yourself and make it about you, because it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the guys that are fighting. But my whole thing is I want to highlight those guys, and if you give me 15, 20 minutes with them, we can do that, you know.
Mhm.
But he had other media obligations, and obviously he wanted to focus on the fight. But we got it done. I just think now that they've seen it, because I did 400K on a day. Now that they've seen it, I think that we can go back and say, look what this did with no prep. Imagine if we actually gave it the time it deserved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I guess yeah, that's fair enough on JJ's side. In Timber's side, they're all quite busy throughout the
Yeah.
fight. Let's go straight into it. Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. Have you done your prediction video yet? Then if not, when's it going to
I
come out?
haven't, but I can give you kind of a layout of what I think can happen. I think it could very easily get out of control early for Jake if Tommy is switched on and he's not, feeling that moment at all. And Jake having to battle back might be a problem. Not saying that he can't, but it's just tough when you have a guy that puts that much volume on you. But on the other side of things, I think Jake's going to surprise people with how quickly he starts. I know he's a little bit of a slow starter, um, but I think he's going to come out very aggressive on Tommy, and I think he's going to make Tommy prove that he can fight, not just punch and throw jabs off the back. I think he's going to make Tommy prove he can fight in the pocket, and Tommy will. Tommy will absolutely fight in the pocket with him. I just wonder, we're going to get some exchanges. Like, we're going to get, this won't be a boring fight. I think Tommy's smart in the way he clinches sometimes. And I do think, though, because they both spend so much time in the pocket, that we're going to get some fun exchanges. So if Tommy sticks around too long, see a Jake big right hand coming over the top. I'm not saying it certainly can hurt him. As of right now, I'm still not even decided, man. I would say I could see Jake winning. I could see Jake winning a decision. It would be a very, very tough thing for him to do, but I could see him doing it. But more likely, I could see Tommy winning a decision.
I've heard a lot on Twitter and looking back at Jake Paul's fights and Tommy Fury's previous fights that there's the risk of the fact that there's so much on the line for both men in this.
Huge fight, man.
The fact that it could be a boring fight, so they're kind of holding back. They're very tentative. They don't want to kind of throw
I
too much.
think it's.
Very
I've
careful.
heard that too. I've heard that. I've heard that there is a lot at stake here, but I think there's just so much built up frustration and built up pride between the two that, again, Jake will open up. It might take him a little longer in some fights, but he starts to open up. And Tommy, for his sake, he needs to start fast. You can't play around with Jake and let him stay in and possibly win the first 2 or 3 rounds just by being inactive, right? Anderson Silva did the same thing. Tyron did the same thing, and he starts to overwhelm you. So Tommy has to be. He has to show what his best skill is: volume on the front foot, pace, right hand behind the jab. But I think Jake's going to surprise some people, and he's gonna be there for it. He's not going to back away and go into the ropes. I think he's going to plant that foot and be there for it. So I think we're going to get a fun fight. I hope, man. After this wait, I hope.
Yeah, I do think it'll be a good fight. Definitely one to watch. But you've interviewed BJ Flores, Jake Paul's coach, before every one of Jake's fights. You
I
got any?
didn't get him this time, man.
Didn't.
So BJ reached out to me. This one was a little different because I knew going into it that they were going to be locked down. Like, Jake has done maybe 3 interviews. He's done the all access thing with Top Rank, but he hasn't done a ton of interviews. And I knew that and BJ even said, "Hey, let's do an interview," and then he had ended up not being able to do it. But we tried to get it done. What I think is going to be more fun would be to get BJ after the fact, right? After the fight, and talk about the fight itself and how it went. Obviously, if they lose, I might not get that. I might not get him. But if they win, I think it would be really cool. We talked about it after the Anderson fight, him coming on the channel and doing like a live breakdown of the Anderson fight. I think that's something we might explore, because I love having BJ on the show. He's legitimately one of he's brilliant. He's a really, really good mind for the sport, and he's a nice dude, man. He's a great guy behind the scenes, and he just truly believes in what Jake has and the work ethic Jake puts in, and they push him, man. So I've always been a big fan of BJ.
He sent me a text. I'm not sure when I meant to say this, but he actually reached out to me. He popped up to me on Twitter saying, I've seen a few of your DMs. I messaged him like a while back. He's like, I'll keep up good work with the interviews. I was like, sweet, thank you very much. See you in Saudi. So that proves right there. So he does get a lot of stick online. I do see sometimes
Dude, he's a great guy.
hate, but I guess
No, he's a great guy. It's
in
just I think
person.
people associate him with Jake's mantra and Jake's character and the whole thing, and the fact that BJ sometimes is a little more opinionated too, but he gives respect where it's due. He respects every single guy I've heard him talk about. The influencer side, obviously, he's going to come out and say stuff like, "Yeah, KSI's not on that level," like what, or Salt Poppy's not on this level, whatever. But when it comes to like the actual sport of boxing, he respects it a lot, and I think people think he is Jake, and he's not that. And by the way, Jake is not that. When you actually talk to him, he's not that way either. So they do a good job of what they're doing, but they're both. I would say BJ's a really really nice guy.
I mean,
Are you going to Saudi, by the way, Fred?
yeah, I'm leaving
My
tomorrow.
man. You ever been out there?
No, no, I've never been anywhere.
You've been to Dubai.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously now I've been to a few countries because of work, but before I kind of started doing this YouTube stuff, I never really traveled anywhere. So now it's quite exciting going to all these different countries. I'm also quite lucky, so I think I'll get back on the Tuesday, and then Wednesday the Misfits boxing 5 week starts.
Uh-huh.
So 2 5 weeks back to back. So hopefully everything works.
Okay, so I'll see you in Telford then, yeah.
Yeah, is Christian coming, Telford?
I actually got to talk to him right now. I don't think so. I think he might be staying home for this one.
We'll see.
Just because it's so last minute, and I don't know how it's going to work with the booking and all that stuff. So he might be staying home and working remote for this one. But for number 6 and all that, he'll definitely be there.
Yeah, number 6 is a big one. This Telford show, I guess the fact they put a tag team on makes it a lot more interesting. It might be weaker cards Misfits to put on. I'm not saying that in a kind way. I'm just being maybe a bit critical about it. But with the tag team fight that's happening, it will draw more views. How do you think this card will do numbers wise compared to the previous Misfits?
Compared to number 4, oh no shot, it's going anywhere near number 4.
No, not number 4, but about all the other Misfits ones.
I would say it's comparable to when we went to, what was Misfits number 2? We went to
It was Sheffield.
Sheffield. I would say it's going to compare to Sheffield.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean that's the same card that Jay headlined as well, right? So this one will sell better because it's in his backyard. Like that, Telford is where Jay's from. I'm correct in saying that, I think. So he will sell that place out. And it's not a big venue, but I actually enjoy the fact that they're not doing it at a big venue, because one of the things I've tried to stress to Misfits and the Zone is know your audience, right? And they do. To be fair to them, they get it. Mams, those guys over there, they get it. They get the game. And one of the things that I think they might have not understood early was not everyone is KSI, right? But that doesn't mean that person or those people aren't stars or can't be. You just have to treat them like that and show the people why before you give them that coronation. And I think that's what they're doing with Jay and some of the other people on the card as well. So getting a smaller venue and packing it out and having it loud and right there and intimate right in your face, it reminds you of the old WWE Raw, like Monday nights where they would go in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, only holds like 2,500 people, but they would be rowdy, man. It was like you couldn't hear a thing in there. And that's the type of environment you want to create, even in your smaller shows. So I think they're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I agree. I guess one other point about that is they're all online fans. So they're going to watch it online. There's a very, very hardcore amount of them. The hardcore fans will go see them in person. Yeah,
Right.
really, really kind of diehard fan, go watch it in person. It looks,
That's why I think it's a good idea that they did it in Telford, right? Like if
and
you
it looks
did
a
it
lot
in
better
London,
stylistically on camera. It's like York Hall for boxing when it's all close to packed. Everyone's going crazy. You can see all the fans.
exactly. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. And show the people at home, man, I want to, whenever that one comes to my city, I want that. I want to be there because that looks like a shit ton of fun. That looks rowdy. That looks awesome. You know what I mean? That's what you want, is for the people that watch at home, the online fans, to want to come out to these events because it's so rowdy, because it's alive, because they're seeing something that they can't get by sitting at home. They want to go and do it in person. So
Yeah, that's fair enough. I've got a question for you.
sure.
I get told a lot of information. Obviously,
Okay.
I talk about, but I do interviews, so I hold back on that. But for someone like yourself, using the mix of it, you probably do get told as much information I get told, probably a lot more, because of the contacts you have and the contacts I have. How do you not let that information slip you get told? And do you ever make videos on information that you know that's not true or that is true? Is it difficult finding the right balance in leaking stuff and then not leaking stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm at that point in my career where, when I first started getting a lot of information, I had no problem leaking everything. Like, okay, buddy.
Oh, really?
here
Oh,
we
you're
go.
bad. Oh, wow.
Because I didn't have any connections to people, and when I got the information, I was getting it through a third party. It wasn't coming from the individual. Like if I got something, I can remember when I first started, having information that I did not probably shouldn't have had. It was stuff around like, the Showstar event and Austin McBroom potentially putting on a new show and stuff like that I knew was coming down the line, but I didn't get it from Austin or I didn't get it from Showstar. I'd get it from other sources. So I had double and triple check it. And when I got it, I would and even when I leaked that Tommy wasn't flying to the US, that stuff I got from a second and third source. I just double checked it and made sure that I was right. And a lot of people called me wrong because I put it out the day before Tommy ever announced he wasn't coming. A lot of people were, and I was hoping, I was like, man, there's no way I got this wrong, right? Like I started questioning myself, no way. But sure enough, I ended up being right, and shout out to the source that gave it to me. But as I've gotten further on in my career, I'm starting to get stuff from the actual source. And that is when you have to play it's a fine line between leaking everything and respecting, a source. If a source says, hey, don't leak this, journalistic integrity says don't do it, right? That's information that you have and someone's entrusted to you, and with the hope or with the expectation that it doesn't get out to the public until they are ready to put that out there. For example, I knew Dylan Dennis wasn't coming to the US before he came, or to the UK before anyone else did. Well, not anyone, but before it was public. And I knew it, and I texted DAZN and said, I'm leaking this story. And they were like, let's just make sure. And the same thing happened with Alex Wasabi. I knew that Alex was going to be on the card. But DAZN said, hey, let us figure out how we're going to put this out and tell this and make sure that we can get our story in front of this before we start leaking it. And that's why I didn't put it out. The same reason I didn't put it out that Dylan wasn't coming to the UK until they did. I wanted them to have that. But yeah, I there's some stuff that I still enjoy leaking because it is good, credible news stuff like you do. You have some good stories and some good, exclusives. And I still want to have that. But it's just finding that fine line between overstepping your bounds, but also making sure that people know the truth. That's a big thing in what we do is making sure our integrity stays what it is and making sure people know the truth. That's something I'll never compromise. So if something's not on the record, but it's going to come out, fair play. But if you're telling me not to leak something that if I don't leak it, it won't ever come out, then I might have a problem with that. And I might have to tell the truth,
I guess short term is very, very good. But then long term in the relationships, which are most important thing, and you don't want to be jeopardizing those.
I don't even, I kind of disagree, man. Relationships are important, but and I want, like, I don't know how you think about it, but my integrity is the most important. If you want to blackball me from a promotion or, whatever, and I have to, and that relationship gets cut off, that's okay, but I can't lie, right? Like, again, if something is, here's this story, don't say anything because we're getting our ducks in a row and we're going to put it out, whatever. But if I find something out and people are trying to hide it and it's important and people need to know it, I can't sit back on my hands and go, yeah, ain't gonna be me that exposes it because I can't lose X, Y, and Z relationship. No, man, I can never work that way, because if I do, my conscience tells me that I didn't do my job as an honorable, quote unquote, journalist and or a man of the people to be able to actually put the truth out. I'll always do that.
Oh, okay. I'll go with your answer. I gonna break that down more than what I thought. One last question. A lot more, I guess. I'm not really asking clickbait questions today. I'm just quite curious about a lot of things. Your channel, you consistently get a number of views.
Right.
Months where fights aren't happening. So for my channel, I get a lot of views when it's fight week, fight night, and then just past fight night. But then the views drop dramatically when no fights are happening. How do you manage to keep a consistent amount of views throughout?
That's a good question, man. So what I've always tried to do is give myself variety, right? Give myself ways to keep people entertained in the influencer boxing space whilst fights are not going on. And that is through a couple of different series. I'm sure you've seen, we've introduced some countdowns, top 10 moments in YouTube boxing. Obviously, the sparring footage is something that I love to take advantage of. I think because I am someone that not only breaks down fights, but breaks down spars and breaks down interactions and breaks down face to faces or interviews. And anytime I can attach myself to the people that have made this scene, and I know that sounds very leechy, but I have opinions on things. And I'm, again, not afraid to tell what those opinions are. When Logan does an interview with True Jordy and he looks like he's half coked up out of his mind, I'm going to say that. Just like when KSI and has the Swarms fight and I went, yeah, this is not fair at all, I'm going to say it, right? So I think what's allowed me to, I don't know about the views, but what's allowed people to continue to come back to my channel is that they know no matter what, outside of maybe Face Sensei, because that's my boy, and I, I'm saying I have a little bit of a bias there, but no matter what, I'm going to give them exactly what I'm thinking about in really any topic. I did breakdowns on Jake Paul's diss track to Dana White. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. If I feel like it fits my channel, I'm going to do it. And sometimes we swing and miss, sometimes it doesn't, they don't do well. One of my favorite videos of all time, Fred, is my interview with Jay. Love that video. I love the interview.
Well, that's interesting because JayZ, when I went to his house in an interview, with me and him on the sofa, that's one of my most favorite interviews.
He's such a good interview, man.
I was just talking about like this load of random stuff. Did you go on the boxing topic, or did you just like branch out? I guess with Jay, you probably did branch out because he's entertaining.
What did I say that again? Did I stick with the boxing?
Was it strictly on boxing, or did you talk about lots of other things?
With Jay, yeah, we just talked, man. We just talked. And that's like one of my favorite interviews because he comes off so freaking real, man. Jay is just a real guy. There is no him on camera versus him off camera. It's just him, it's just him. So, and that video didn't do very well. And I went, I don't give a shit. The next time I get to see that man, I'm interviewing him again because I just love doing that, right? I just love it. And then, yeah, I think what I've tried to do, man, to make a long answer short, I've tried to make my videos, even if I'm covering the same topics, different, right? My walk and talk videos, the way I plan out videos for like when I talked about Deji fighting Mayweather and how he was going to have to, this was Deji's journey to Mayweather, literally me packing my bag, filming on the plane, filming when I get off, filming in Dubai, and we made the whole journey video, right? That kind of stuff, trying to have a third, like you have the topic of the video, you have whatever it is that you want the people to hear and see, and in the background, there's a whole different story being told that they can relate to. So even if they don't even fuck with the main point of the video, they're like, damn, Wade's actually like on a fucking plane right now. He's doing this, he's on that. There's like a little behind the scenes third kind of fourth wall break. And I got that inspiration from a lot of different people, a lot of people like that Ryan Trehill guy. I don't know how to say his name. Old Sneeko videos I've watched for that kind of storytelling aspect and just trying to be different, man. That's really it.
I know Christian doesn't like Sneeko. I tried old videos. Remember you were telling me in Dubai, you should check out some of Sneeko's old videos. But you should see this channel, which is annoying because now I can't follow back. But I guess he stepped out beside the box, which is quite interesting to see. 2 more points actually. You mentioned Face Sensei there. What was you think of King Kenny ranking him? Well,
I just saw this on Twitter and I responded to it. I think, and Sensei and I are going to talk about it tonight too. I think Kenny knows what like skill level Sensei is. Like, there's a reason not a lot of people rank Sensei in their top 5, and the reason, in my opinion, is because he's not active. He just doesn't fight, right? So he has 2 fights in the influencer scene, and Kenny still believes he's top 5. And then Kenny tried to backtrack and say, "Oh, I wasn't thinking about it. It was in the heat of the moment. And once I thought about it, he's on the level of Beetle." He was like, "Okay, it was like a little joke," but kind of exposed himself a bit because when you don't think about something, when it's just fresh, an answer off your mind, it's what you truly think, what you truly feel without having to sit back and analyze it and go, wait, that's sometimes how you really feel. So having him in the top 5 shows me that Kenny does believe Sensei's top 5, and I don't have any problems with that. I think he's right. Sensei, skill for skill, is top 5. And again, people are going to look at this and go, Wade, you're biased. That's your boy. No, he legitimately is skill for skill. And I understand why people don't rank him there, and I won't rank him there either because he's inactive. But we're talking about skills in this scene. He's one of the 5 best, easily.
That's fair enough. I do understand your point. I did see that interview. I did see that interview. The interviewer he did it with is generally one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's very, Very happy. One more thing, your merchandise. Last
Mm.
August you released it. You haven't heard anything since. What's up?
No, we put it on the back burner for a bit, man. I think winter will be the time this time around if we're gonna come back with something in the winter. Listen, W Clothing is still alive. Its heart's still beating. We're just trying to figure out some other stuff. Like I said, long-term contracts with bigger media companies is something I'm very interested in right now as far as being able to do more, right? One of my little like things that I tell myself, it's gonna sound stupid, but I just want to do cool shit, Fred. That's it. I want to do cool shit. And to me, cool shit is working boxing, MMA, you know what I mean? Pro wrestling at some point in my career. Um, you know, all football, American football at some point, having these little, I call them the 4 or 5 pillars, having different branches that I can come out to and still have my main thing be influencer boxing. That's what I want to do. So W Clothing's coming back. We gotta get back on top of it. We're gonna work on that. But as for right now, just stay tuned. It'll be some fun stuff in the winter.
Did you go for the TGF Childish angle for W Clothing? How you have it as YouTuber merchandise? You just got kind of maybe more of a negative stigma, and you went for it as an actual clothing brand to bring it more positive
Correct.
and have it kind of cooler to wear.
Correct. So the idea behind it was not have my name attached to it because at some point I'd love for it to live on without me, right? To where I don't have to promote it anymore. Not to say that I shouldn't, but I would want it to be like, I don't even care if it was like a Kmart sports, sports active wear, like a Walmart version. I don't care. I want it to have its own life. So the idea was, yeah, let's not make merch. Let's make an actual clothing line with different, additions and drops and styles and release dates and all that. So by the way, shout out to Childish, man. They do such a great job over there. Jay sent me some of the stuff. It's killer.
It is very, very high quality. I bought that Halloween hoodie and it's very good quality. But
Is it the Letterman one? What's the one that I always see mini men are wearing? The gray with the green? That shit is fire. I want that one.
they do because obviously they sell out. They got a really nice old red sweatshirt. They did about
Yeah. There you go.
5 drops ago. So I need to tell Jay they got any of those left, or we're gonna pick one of those up.
He only got like a 2XL left, Fred. You're gonna be swimming in that thing. That's all he's got left.
I'll have to get on one of those training programs to fill it out.
There you go.
Thanks for your time. I do appreciate it. I know you're very, very busy. I'll see you in Telford.
Yes.
So I'm going from Saudi Arabia to Birmingham. So it's a little bit of a drop down.
Jesus.
Quite a big.
Hey, listen, man. I hope y'all respect my man Fred Talks Fighting for putting out this content. Listen, he's flying to Saudi. He's flying back to Telford. The man is at every event, even the ones that you're not even supposed to watch if you're 18 and under. All right. He's there. Okay. So let my man get a subscribe and appreciate you, Fred.
Awesome. That's great. Nice little ending there. Thanks, Wade.